Serbia's president has called a National Security Council session to discuss violence that broke out between police and ethnic Serbs in Northern Kosovo. Ethnic Serbs tried to stop police from escorting the recently elected ethnic Albanian mayor to his office. Nadim Barber reports.
Police outside a local government building in Northern Kosovo being pelted with objects as they fire tear gas into the crowd. Protesters had gathered here in the town of Zvečan trying to stop the newly elected mayor from entering his office. They're among the 50,000 Serbs in northern Kosovo who boycotted local elections a month ago. In the violence following Friday's standoff here, several people were injured, while a police car was set on fire. Later, several vehicles from the NATO peacekeeping mission to Kosovo arrived in the centre of Zvečan. And in neighbouring Serbia, President Aleksandar Vučić placed the army on full combat alert, ordering troops to move closer to the border.
The Serbian population decided to peacefully, non-violently protest today against the installment of those mayors. Unfortunately, Serbian people peacefully protesting were met with a brute force, with hundreds of Albanian police personnel.
Ethnic Albanians form a majority of more than 90% in Kosovo, but they're a small minority in areas of the north where the Serbs are in the majority. Turnout in April's vote was less than 4%. Local Serbs say they won't work with the new mayors, all from ethnic Albanian parties. They're claiming an agreement dating back 10 years for greater autonomy hasn't been respected.
We've seen in recent months negotiations on the highest level between Belgrade and Pristina. However, every time that we touch upon the topic of either UN membership for Kosovo, which is the red line for Serbia, or the question of the Association of Serb Municipalities, which was agreed in the Brussels Agreement back in 2013, all of a sudden we hear the Kosovo government being, that's basically the red line for Kosovo government.
In March, Pristina and Belgrade verbally agreed to implement a Western-backed plan. It's aimed at improving ties and diffusing tensions, but those tensions are all too real. Nadim Barber, Al Jazeera.
Jasmin Mujanovic is a political scientist specialising in the Western Balkans. He thinks the situation has been deteriorating for some time.
We see that as the government of Serbia has become less democratic over the last few years, as it has become more autocratic and centered on the person of Aleksandar Vučić, the prospects for violence and serious instability certainly have grown. So insomuch as Vučić is facing a very serious domestic political crisis, unfortunately, that raises the probability of some kind of violence in I think, unfortunately, the reality is that both the kind of EU and US-led talks, so broadly the kind of the Western initiative in the Kosovo-Serbia dispute, is fundamentally broken. And it's fundamentally broken largely because we have increasingly treated Kosovo as the problem in this dispute rather than Serbia. It is Serbia fundamentally that has blocked and obstructed virtually any meaningful dialogue between the two sides. And what's especially become alarming over, again, the last few years is the very significant bifurcation in political standards between the two countries. While Kosovo has become a more and more competitive and open democracy, Serbia has once again become a more closed-off and autocratic society. And it's very difficult to imagine under those circumstances, both with the West aggressively backing Serbia and the political bifurcation between the two sides, of a meaningful resolution to this conflict in the near future.